1989, but the last time the Scots won the Calcutta Cup here at Twickenham was on the 5th of March, 1983. So we're almost set for the 2019 edition of the Calcutta Cup. Here are the teams. World Cup preparations front of mind for Eddie Jones. He's rung the changes again. Two of the leading performers against Italy sit this one out. Brad Shields gives way to Mark Wilson in the back row. Ben Moon replaces Ellis Genge at loose head. Joe Thokener Singer, man of the match a week ago, omitted from the 23. The Exeter duo, Henry Slade and Jack Nola, back. Manatu Alangi moves in one to inside centre. Injuries to key players have blighted Gregor Townsend throughout the championship. There's a radical rejig to the Scotland back row with the first start in this Six Nations for Hamish Watson. Ben Toulis replaces Johnny Gray at lock. Into the backs, Ali Price continues at scrum half, with Stuart Hogg and Blair Kinghorn both unavailable. Sean Maitland is picked at full-back. Byron McGuigan fills in for Tommy Seymour on the wing. Sam Johnson is back in favour and returns to the midfield. On to the replacements. England scrum half Dan Robson was ruled out on Tuesday, so Ben Spencer becomes the 6th Saracen involved today. Newcastle's Chris Harris is fit again and wears 23 for Scotland. Well, it's been a torrid old campaign for the Scots, Rory. If there is a key area, if there is one thing they have to get right today, if they are to end that long sequence of defeats here, what is it?
Martin, I think there's a long list of those, but right at the forefront has to be the physicality. Up front, Scotland have to match England to have any chance. At set piece and defensively, they have to be rock solid. So far in this championship, Scotland have given away too many cheap points, and they cannot afford to do that here at headquarters.
Well, two of the officials from New Zealand, including the referee, Paul Williams. So the championship is now out of the question for England. They lost that really in a wretched 20 minutes in Cardiff. But what they can do here is to put themselves and set themselves on the right route for Tokyo in that World Cup. And of course, a very distinguished prize, the Calcutta Cup. There's Ali Price, again selected at scrum half, ahead of Greg Laidlaw.
Hold here now, White.
There is Price, the Glasgow team, significantly outnumbered at the moment by those from their Scottish rivals, Edinburgh. Tremendous catch at pace there from Billy Vunipola.
Yeah, did well. It's a good kick from Ali Price. England in possession, though.
There's some space here for England. In particular here for Henry Slade. Noel's looking for it. Noel has got it. He steps inside. He's burst through to the defence. What a way for the extra wing to return to England action. Out with a shoulder. And after all the stuff about Joe Thokener and what a marvellous game he had last week, there was, in some quarters, some criticism for Noel's inclusion here. I tell you what, he certainly quietened down those particular critics very early indeed.
Oh, he's shown his class with the finish, but it was that pass there from Farrell out the back to Elliot Daly that opened up. Slade did well, went at Maitland, pulled in the challenge from Finn Russell, but Nowell had understood that the space was on the inside. Look at here, Maitland had to over-chase. As a result, at the same time McGuigan over-chased, Nowell came off his right foot, and by the time Ben Toulis got his hands to him, it was all too late. Nowell's over for a score. It's a dream start for England, and an absolute nightmare for the men in blue.
Well, let's be honest, that's a habit that England are developing. Scoring early. That coming right at the start of the second minute. Well, the wind is going to play a role here, but that flew almost dead straight from Owen Farrell.
Yeah, we'll just see the finish to the score there. Billy Vunipola deserves credit. Scotland defensive reads were just poor. It was a good execution. Scotland went for the line speed from outside in. As it was, Nick Grigg was compromised with the quick hands from Finn Russell. And with the pace that England have shown throughout this championship, and they've just shown the killer instinct there back in their 20th try.
Well, the catch there coming from Johnny May. The box kick from Ben Young, the most experienced Test player in the England side at the moment. There is Sean Maitland, a slightly unfamiliar position at full-back, has played there a handful of times for Saracens.
Immediately you see the line speed that England look to put on Finn Russell, understanding the threat he brings.
Oh, here, what? No. Use now,
Scotland
please.
will just be looking here to try and get the ball in the hand here. Here's Johnny May. Always dangerous when he gets a little bit of space. On there from Farrell. Through burst Curry. Well, there may have been a little bit of a tap, but he fell over his own feet as much as anything. What an encouraging start this is for England. And then that ball appeared to be lost forward by Ben Moon, who's gone down.
Oh. Right. Club off. Yeah.
It looks like he's in some discomfort, doesn't he, Ben Moon? I'm not sure if it's just the way he landed, having made that carry on the inside shoulder. We just see the move there. That was the pass from Farrell. You see the unders line from Manu Tuolangi, held the inside defender, and from there Slade did really well, drew Finn Russell's challenge. The Scottish defence had over-chased on the inside, and Nowell did really well. This is the killer pass. Sam Johnston's dragged in. You see Tuolangi coming on the short line, out of picture, pulled Grigg in, and from there England made it look incredibly easy. They've shown so much class and killer instinct. Their ability, their efficiency with ball in hand has been remarkable.
Yes, you could see how Sean Maitland there was signalling so that he could go and cover the wing, but then he rather overcommitted himself, didn't he?
And it's one of those things, as a blitz defence, you jeopardise a lot if you don't get it right. Here we just see the challenge again. In there, look.
Making a substitution here for white one.
Yeah, it looks fairly innocuous, but I think it possibly happens.
Yeah, blue screen.
Didn't look like all that much, but he's carrying that right arm very heavily, so it's a shame to see Ben Moon's afternoon finish so early on.
Well, we're back with the rough diamond combo, as Eddie Jones refers to them. Carl Sinclair on the tight head side. Ellis Genge, the Leicester Tiger, on the loose head side.
Nice and balance.
I'm not sure whether the statistic means much, Rory, but there are actually more players in this England 23 from clubs in the bottom 5 of the Gallagher Premiership than there are in the top 7 at the moment. There's Russell. Here's a little bit of space for Sean Maitland. Eventually taken to ground. That was Henry Slade. There goes Toulis. Toulis preferred to Johnny Gray today. Here's Hamish Watson. What a cameo he had last week. 22 minutes. And Russell finds touch.
Yeah, and that's respectful play from Scotland, understanding how good this English defence is. We've seen Ali Price go to the skies on a couple of occasions with the box kick. That one there, Finn Russell finding an outcome, understanding the importance of getting some field position, particularly after conceding just a minute into the game. It's really important that Scotland try and get some territory and try and bag some possession in England's half at the same time.
The throw there finding the safe hands of Joe Launchbury. Here's Youngs. Be interesting to see how Manatulangi goes here in the rather narrower 12 channel. Byron McGuigan waits for it. Two Sale players playing opposite one another today. McGuigan up against Tom Curry, and there is Tom Curry. And Curry's turned it at the expense of his clubmate.
Yeah, interesting call there from Paul Williams. I think the steal was made. Interestingly, Curry ended up rolling then on his back, so theoretically he's then off his feet. Does he have to release it? As it is, the scavenging open side, excellent on the ground. Tom Curry did really well.
An injury to Sam Underhill offered a chance in this championship for Tom Curry. And on the evidence of the first 4 matches in 7 minutes, he's certainly taken it.
That's a 50-50 that definitely went England's way there. Interesting, he had his hands on it, but he was off his feet by the time I think he had potentially stolen it.
Same combo there, George to Launchbury. Ben Youngs has given him the call. Here's Noel.
Advantage.
We're playing an advantage here to the men in white.
You have the advantage, 9.
Youngs again.
Forward there. Back for the penalty.
So we're going to come back for the penalty.
Yeah. Number 10.
He just off Finn Russell there, I think it was, and Stuart McInally coming offside off the back of the ruck.
Yeah.
Again, just pushing that line speed. Here's an interesting call. Get a score a minute in, 7 points up, and there's a message of intent, if ever you needed one.
Yeah. On the line. I'll go to the back, Polly. On the line there, guys.
It's not necessarily a criticism, Rory, but England not showing an awful lot of respect for the men in blue. They've gone short to Vunipola, and here's the drive, and they've got it down. Well, he was the try scorer in Wales in defeat, and on the evidence of this, he's more likely to be the try scorer in the pursuit of victory. Tom Curry.
There's one for Steve Borthwick off the set piece. Look at the simplicity of this. Hit Billy Vunipola, 130 kilo anchor on the ground. Have two forwards bind around him and just drive onto him, and you just see it's an 8-man effort. Tom Curry on the ball, and it just so simple from England. Efficiency at its very best. Execution from the line out. And England stretch their lead, and it's looking ominous. We're not even 10 minutes in, and Scotland are 2 tries down.
Well, a rehearsed move. Make a note of that for the World Cup. It worked utterly flawlessly here. Well, the Rugby Football Union were making all sorts of plans about preparing for high winds and 1 or 2 logistical changes outside the ground. Inside it, Owen Farrell is kicking as if there's barely a breath.
That was as clean a strike as you will ever see. We had a beautiful view of it, and it was a kick of beauty.
And a miscue from the restart from Finn Russell. Elliot Daly firing the ball into touch.
Yep, yours is here.
I'd love to hear the messages that are being sent down from the coach's box at the moment for Scotland. A hugely disappointing start for Gregor Townsend's side.
And that line out going against the throw as well of Stuart McInally, the captain.
Hold wide too. Thank you.
Tester for Maitland. Did well. There's Ali Price. On to Finn Russell. Here's Johnson. Started the first 3 matches. Dropped for the last one, but now recalled.
Lost there.
And there was Curry again.
Leave it, White, leave it.
But Scotland do have it. Here's Grigg. Rather a stationary target for Joe Launchbury. Russell looking for space. And he finds it, but it's on the wrong side of the white line.
Play.
And that's defensive pressure from England, who've gone quick at the line out.
Russell looking to atone here, trying to take on Johnny May. May taking him down around the ankles.
Oh, yeah. Hold White. Okay.
Not yet 12 minutes gone. England leading by 14 points to 0. A little bit of rain falling at Twickenham.
I don't think we get a real appreciation up here in the West Stand of the wind down at pitch level, but it's certainly blustery, and kicking's playing a big part so far in this first half.
Oh, there.
The appreciation we do get, though, Rory, is the fact that we're well under cover, but we're still getting a little bit wet. And that was a crunching hit from Johnson, who's a bit slow to get up there on Manu Tuolangi. Here's Ellis Gench. Just buffeting off the defenders and getting the offload of Kyle Sinclair. Well, he's like a human dump truck, is Sinclair. Here's Launchbury. Launchbury with a dummy. It is yet another try from England. They are rampant.
Wow. Joe Launchbury on the end of the attack to finish it off. But it highlights the fact that he had time to pull off a dummy. But look at this here. Great tackle from Sam Johnson on Manu Tuolangi. And it gave Stuart McInally a chance, but the ball came out to Genge, left-footed step, bump, offload there to Sinclair, who had a sensational line. From there, this is just simple. Ben Young's in there so quickly, looks up, ball across the front. Here we are again, Sinclair. He was going nowhere but over the top of Maitland, and the speed of ball was so quick that Launchbury across the front had the chance to dummy and glide through. He'll rarely score an easier try than that. And right now, England are looking like world beaters. Scotland's defence is looking so porous.
Well, Joe Launchbury there demonstrating that this England side has the all-court skills. Wind, what wind? Owen Farrell takes his Six Nations tally for England up to 397 over the course of his career.
Well, Martin, I sensed coming into this game that there was a fair bit of edge and a few scars that were maybe just hadn't quite healed from Murrayfield last year. Hearing some of the words being said by coaches and players this week, but the intent that England have shown in this opening 15 minutes has been unbelievable, and Scotland haven't even been a close second best so far.
Yeah, Scotland finished third in the championship last year. No doubt the highlight was that stunning Calcutta Cup victory up at Murrayfield.
You're here. Yeah, I'll stand on the middle, I'll give you your mark.
Well, I saw a pre-match interview with Gregor Townsend, and he was asked about the fact that he had so many injuries to deal with. 37 players have been involved in Scotland's campaign in this Six Nations so far. He was keen not to blame anything, but it's hard to imagine how it really could have gone any worse.
Yeah, with regards to injuries, it's been really brutal for Scotland. Having said that, I do feel that a number of the players who have been given the opportunity, either with their own fitness or with the injuries to others, have underperformed. And as Scots, you can't deny that you lose a world-class operator like Stuart Hogg, you lose Hugh Jones, you continue without Duncan Taylor. Guys like Ryan Wilson, John Barclay, there's a long list of players missing, which Scotland have always struggled with, because the depth, with only 2 professional sides and then the handful of players playing outside of Scotland, is always going to be a challenge. But for me, the performances haven't been where they need to be. Italy in the first game was decent for 40 minutes. The second game against Ireland, okay for 40 minutes, but that was an opportunity that got away. France was another opportunity that got away, and Wales in round 4 was one that arguably Scotland could have and should have won. So Scotland come to Twickenham having only won 1 game, hugely frustrated, incredibly disappointed with the campaign so far, and certainly the way things have gone in this opening 17 minutes doesn't look to have improved any.
Here's Maitland just going across field. He was a straightforward target there for Slade. That's the halfway line, in from Ali Price. Bradbury there. That was Grant Gilchrist, tallest man on the pitch at 6'7". That's about 2 metres in the metric measures. Alan Dell goes back. There's Mark Wilson scooping it up for Sinclair. On there from Tuolangi.
It's on again.
There are plenty of white jerseys out wide, aren't there? Here goes Henry Slade. Little chip inside was meant for Johnny May.
Not sure Johnny May needed to come inside there, or either that, or I think Henry Slade should have potentially straightened. It was on, but the camera's on George Cruz, because look at this here. Him chasing down Finn Russell. Finn Russell had Sinclair in front of him, thinking that he was the defender that he was at most at risk being hit by, and Cruz came from nowhere and smashed Russell and dislodged that ball and offered England the turnover. What Scotland are struggling with so far, they've lost a couple of line-outs, they've lost possession again there. They just cannot get a hold and keep a hold of possession at the moment.
No problems with that line out.
That's the middle. Leave. They go.
Scotland really just looking for some respite.
You're too late. Hey. No thanks.
Johnny May, very solid under the high ball.
Go away.
There's Youngs. Ali Price snatching that from the grasp of Ben Youngs. That's Sam Skinner standing over the ball. Skinner, who played for England in a World Rugby Under-20 final. Same team as Ellis Genge, would you believe, 4 years ago. There goes McGuigan.
Don't pull out of it. Mate.
On to Willem Nel, the man from the Northern Cape of South Africa. Johnson. Another tackle there to the count for Mark Wilson.
Look at the effort Scotland have to put in to try and get any form of go-forward ball. England's defensive line speed suffocating them, and Scotland are lacking someone like a Billy Vunipola to actually just give them front foot ball when it's not there on a plate.
Well, this has rather been laid on a plate for Elliot Daly. That was superb out of the back of the hand to Noel. Noel chips it ahead. Can he get... Oh, there was a Scottish hand, but that may well be the telling touch. Well, it's a couple of years since Ben Youngs scored a Test match try. Right at the start of the 2017 Six Nations campaign. He may well have ended that long dry spell.
Ben, are you there?
Yes, Paul.
Okay, mate, so on-field decision is try. We've got a grounding here. We just want to make sure there wasn't any little knock-on in the lead up to this, mate.
Checking footage, just the last component where the ball has been grounded, on-field decision try.
Yeah.
The television match official is Ben Skeen, getting the instructions there from his compatriot.
Ben Youngs didn't look convinced when he first got up that it had definitely been a score, and I think it does that glance off his right hand. I think the ball flight possibly changes. He does get it down second time with that left hand, but I think the first one here, watch his right hand here. For me, I think that's his right hand that knocks it, guides it out towards the right.
I guess the only thing in his favour is that it has to be clear and obvious.
Yeah, we need to go. That camera there, we need to go there.
I am inclined to agree with you.
Well, there it is. There,
Thank you.
that's
I
as
have a
clear and obvious
decision.
as you can get, surely.
Paul, you need to reverse your on-field decision. White has knocked the ball on, blue scrum.
Agree. Clear knock on by
Well, there
White.
may not be
No
many
try.
among the 80,000
No try.
here who agree with you.
Knock on.
But Rory, you and Ben Skeen, the television match official, on the same wavelength.
Strictly neutral, only saying what I see, Martin. That was, I felt that when Ben Youngs, often a player's reaction does tell you an awful lot, but look at this as a bit of skill there. Elliot Daly between two defenders, naughty ball out the back door, and Nowell understood, there it is, left-footed step, Nowell in a load of space, understood where Youngs was, really nice little clip down the touchline, and it gave the opportunity. Scotland still, the pressure on, that was almost a bonus point with only a quarter of the game gone for England. Boy, they've been good in the championship in the opening 20 minutes.
Just come
I guess the question might be, in hindsight, might Jack Nowell have been better with a little soft pass, holding it up?
I'm sure he'll look at that in a review session. Sure, Ben Youngs would have rather that than had a foot race with Ali Price for that score in the corner.
He had made himself available there, Ben Youngs, running as fast as you will ever see him to loop round behind Jack Nowell. 21 minutes gone. England 21 points in front. Price. That was a super touch, but Jack Nowell is off and running. Here goes Elliot Daly.
The wheels on Elliot Daly just compromises defenders.
Vunipola on there to Farrell. Bursting through again is Nowell. He has made quite an impact on this match. Farrell took 3 grabs at it. On there to Curry. It might still work though for England. Here's Sinclair. That was Genge.
Yeah, ball's there. Off 6. That was your man.
There's Youngs. On there to Farrell. The pop pass there to Johnny May. Looked rather flat. May sound like a bit of a euphemism, but it satisfied the referee.
No, don't put him in. Don't put him in there. Don't hold him there too.
Here's Farrell. Nowell at pace. That was a well-timed break. Well snuffed out, though, by the Scots. Here goes Jamie George. Youngs.
Yeah, no. In the tackle. It's a knock-on advantage.
Referee playing an advantage here for the knock-on.
Jamie.
Change of direction from Henry Slade. Farrell onto Nowell. Look at May. He's desperate for the ball out there on the left flank. Here is May.
Okay, the advantage is over.
Referee says the advantage for the knock-on is over. Here goes Jamie George. England up to now, this will be the 15th phase. Slade. Genge. Another good tackle there from Sam Johnson. Vunipola. Hamish Watson apprehending him.
No.
And it's a penalty to England.
There must be a clear release first before you go on the ball. And you guys need to roll.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about the problems with the winds here in southwest London. In fact, throughout the country over the course of the last week. We understand that you might have been experiencing a bit of picture breakup. I apologise for that, but please understand, I am told by higher powers that really it's been delivered by higher powers. It's entirely down to the weather.
Yeah, and here's the penalty against Hamish Watson, who thought that he was in the fight on the ground there. You can see he had his hands on it. But Paul Williams suggesting that there wasn't a clear release in there, or that the ruck had formed. That's something whereby the Northern Hemisphere referees, and I spoke to Glenn Jackson a couple of weeks ago about this, the Kiwi. He says that the Southern Hemisphere referees referee things differently. Up here in the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of the time the referees talk players through it, so they'd say release, or hands off. On that occasion there, the first time that Hamish Watson knew he was going to be penalised was when the whistle blew.
England up to 24, a landmark for Owen Farrell. 400 points in his Six Nations career.
And he's just been able to pull the strings so far this afternoon, hasn't he? He's had front foot ball. Really interesting to see the work rate of Johnny May and that man Jack Nowell off their wings, just popping up in the midfield up against front five forwards. And as soon as these big men see the quick feet of those guys, it's, you know, it's the danger zone that they understand they're in. They feel really vulnerable.
Well, to draw one or two comparisons, the last time Scotland were here 2 years ago, England put 61 points on them. They did score 21 of their own. Here goes Jamie George. But it's certainly been a very sobering opening 20 minutes for the Scots. Really is quite the antithesis of that marvellous match 12 months ago at Murrayfield.
Oh, yeah, good timing, thank you.
And the one for Maitland, you can see the way Maitland was moving under that. The ball must have been wobbling in the air. That's the carry from Magnus Bradbury, who's impressed since coming back from injury. There goes McInally getting the offload away. That's to Alan Dell.
You got the advantage, late tackle. Did we get a number there, guys?
Referee's playing an advantage here to the Scots. There goes Sam Skinner.
Advantage for the late tackle.
Gilchrist.
Hold that mark, please, guys.
Ali Price. Russell. The chip over the top. And that goes to Elliot Daly. And the referee will come back.
No advantage.
For the Scotland penalty.
Coming back. Late tackle. 17 white.
It's a kick to nothing for Finn Russell, but that man Ellis Genge there just taking things a little bit too far. You see Ali Price there gets to pass away. Genge just sold himself. He's dropped his head, dropped his eyes,
late tackle,
and just followed through on it. Yeah, the ball's well away. It's, yeah, you could actually see him cursing himself as he spun out of it, understanding that he knew that he had just slightly mistimed it. It's the first real opportunity that Scotland have had to have a penalty and drive themselves into England's half and have a set piece of their own. Finn Russell often goes to bite off a lot. He's found a really good kick there, and Scotland finally have a set piece play inside the 22, and really important as the clock ticks towards 30 minutes that Scotland come away from this attack with something. The territory stats showing that only 17% of the play has been inside England's half, and the scoreboard certainly suggests that England have been ruthless.
Well, that almost sent up there for Byron McGuigan. Chance though maybe to counter here for England. Here goes Johnny May. He's got support outside here from Daly. Daly cuts in field. Jamie George is following it up. But it is snapped up by Darcy Graham. Maitland on here to Toulis. Price. Slipping behind Villanelle. Here goes Magnus Bradbury.
Turnover's good. 5.
Penalty to England.
Tom Curry again, and Ben Youngs has gone quickly as well.
Oh, and the space out wide. Slade inside to Johnny May. It's yet another one for the Leicester wing. try against Ireland, a hat-trick against France. He picked one up against Italy last weekend, and now he's opened his account against the Scots.
How unselfish is this from Henry Slade? Look at this, he could have run that in instead. He understands Ali Price was charging across. Johnny May is in for his 6th try of the championship. Look at the sleight of hand here, though. There you go, son. You finish it off. Have another one. The easiest of run-ins for Johnny May. Quick thinking from Ben Youngs. But that come back to Tom Curry. It was Tom Curry's turnover that gave England the penalty opportunity, and from there, just the quick thinking from Ben Youngs. Beautiful sleight of hand by Henry Slade, and it's just all too easy for England right now.
Well, it's not a dissimilar story to the opening half hour against the French. On that occasion in the second half, though, the men in white rather took their foot off the French windpipe. I do wonder if we look back at the history in this fixture, and maybe they might just have incurred the wrath of Mr. Jones a little in the aftermath of that France game. I strongly suspect there will be no repeat here. This promises to be a full 80-minute performance from England. England into the 30s.
Here you go again. I was interested there. I thought they should have looked at that challenge on Sam Johnson from Manu Tuolangi. But you look at that, 95 metres later, England are under the posts and extend their lead by another 7 points. I did think when I first saw it that the challenge on Sam Johnson was a bit high, was going to ground. But again, the efficiency of this English attack, really cutthroat.
Cruz taking the restart. There's Youngs, Farrell.
Oh, blue.
Curry.
Hold there, White. All on now.
That's one for May to chase.
Backwards off White. Play on.
Nick Grigg it is who does the mopping up. Gilchrist. Russell. Magnus Bradbury. Another tackle there from Tom Curry. Here's Toulis. He'll chip over the top, meant for Byron McGuigan. Palm back. Here goes Farrell. Elliot Daly off and running. Noel shown the touchline, takes the invitation. Hamish Watson. Well, he showed plenty of cool there, did the Edinburgh loose forward. And Finn Russell hoofs it into touch. But once again, the back three cutting loose. First Elliot Daly, then Jack Noel.
There just seems to be space everywhere, and so often the case that you see an English powerhouse back with a pace, identifying a Scottish forward in front of them and exposing it.
Tom Curry. Oh, that was meant for Jamie George.
Knock on, and Sevens in front.
And Tom Curry finding himself in an offside position.
And that's the first unforced error that I remember for a long time in this opening 33 minutes made by England. And it's brief relief for Scotland. This is again, we're just seeing the finish to this bonus point try for England. What a championship Johnny May's had. He'll surely be in the contenders for player of the championship. In my Gloucester days, I always was aware he had the pace, and a lot's been made of his personality, but my goodness, he's the ultimate professional, and he's shown his capabilities so far this year.
Yes, he certainly had a reputation of being something of a character in the team room, I understand. Not always the greatest listener, but he's certainly been listening a lot more recently.
Yeah, he suggested there was a chicken hiding in his body that guided him. So I don't know how he's managed to get rid of it, but
yeah, good fight.
I don't know what he's replaced it with either. I don't think he's all there, but he's certainly got some athletic ability.
He certainly has that. Started off as a pole vaulter. There goes Sam Skinner. McAnally. Russell.
Okay.
Picked up by England.
Advantage over.
Another tackle coming in from Tom Curry. There's Henry Slade. Oh, that was brilliant from Curry. Well grabbed by Cruz. There's May. Farrell, but it's been charged down. And it's the captain, McAnally, who's away. Oh, he's been missed by May, and this is a tremendous break. Well, Stuart McAnally has played a captain's innings just when it was required.
And it seemed like it would take something like that for Scotland to break this English defence. And it actually came from a turnover. There's Curry again, putting that defensive pressure on WP Nel. And here it is, the charge down. McAnally did brilliantly to get it, but more so to regather. Watch this here. Picks it up off his shins, puts on the afterburners, tucks it under his left hand, understanding there might be a fend. It's a missed tackle by Johnny May, who surely could have run alongside him and got him down, but McAnally showed the pace to get away from Farrell as well. And I tell you what, the captain of Scotland will not stop fighting for as long as he's on the field there. It's narrowed the gap slightly, but it's a big score for Scotland.
Well, they do get 7 points back. It's been quite an opening 36 minutes at Twickenham. Well, the first time I saw Stuart McAnally play, he was a rather swift back row forward. He's now an even quicker hooker.
Yeah, he's had to change his body shape a little bit. Both he and Fraser Brown are both converted back rowers. But that time there, he did show the pace. He's a powerful, powerful man. Incredibly proud to lead his country. Do Scotland believe they can win this game? I'm still not convinced. But they've narrowed the gap, and they'll be looking to build on that score now in the final moments of this half.
The catch there from Magnus Bradbury.
We're outside the 22,
The Scotland
guys.
pack, dominated by players from Edinburgh who've had such a wonderful season, and still with plenty more to come, under the watchful eye of their English coach, Richard Cockerell.
Don't push it into him. Don't push it into him. The ball's there to play. Hey.
Sam Skinner is actually the only non-Edinburgh player in the Scotland pack today.
It's taken back inside the 22.
Ball taken back into the 22, so an error from Ali Price.
Let's go!
But once again, the point you made about being coached by Northern Hemisphere referees, he probably would have been coached there had it been a Northern Hemisphere coach, not by Paul Williams.
Yeah, it's a very different approach, and my chat with Glenn Jackson definitely opened my eyes up to it, and he said before he refereed Italy-Ireland that he had changed the way that he had refereed a little bit. This is Paul Williams' debut in the Six Nations as a referee, so it's a really different challenge. He's obviously refereeing very similarly to how he does in Super Rugby. He has refereed Scotland twice before, but this is his first Six Nations game.
And it's certainly not a criticism on our part, it is just a different interpretation of the role of the referee.
Stay behind! Yep.
Here goes Ben Youngs. Missing out Farrell. Taken by Elliot Daly. Nick Grigg getting him around the bootlaces. There goes Jack Noel.
Okay, thank you.
Last 2 minutes of what has been a frenetic first 40. Another carry there from Tom Curry. Manu Tuolangi having to bend his back for that one. VP Nell with the tackle.
Easy.
Sinclair finding himself out in the midfield. Jamie George. Slade, super pass.
Yeah. Advantage, tackle off the
Another
ball.
crucial tackle, exactly. Sam Johnson
Got the
has
advantage,
done
White,
wonderfully
tackle off the
well.
ball.
They've been stretched in the midfield. But time and
number
again,
there,
Sam
Sam.
Johnson has met that challenge.
Oh, there. Got the advantage for a tackle off the ball.
Referee was playing an advantage there for a tackle off the ball.
Yeah, got it.
How big a statement do England want to make now? A minute to go,
Tackle off the ball.
a comfortable lead of 24 points. Do they go for the corner here? And
Same
look
as
to
the other
finish
one.
the half
Tackle off the
exactly
ball.
as they started it.
Number 4. Off the ball.
Ben Toulis, the guilty party. Well, the call made by Owen Farrell meets the approval.
It certainly does.
Sure.
And you just see the tackle there as Ben Toulis on Tom Curry. It was followed up by another great tackle, as you picked up on,
there he
Martin,
goes.
by Sam Johnson. He's chucked himself around. All too often, though, it's been the movement game of England, the power game, that has compromised this Scotland defence
get
in the
in
first
and we'll
half.
know.
Can Scotland hold
One
them
goes
out
out.
in the final play?
Thank you.
It's there with Jamie George. Now, can they get the choreography right? Look at Jack Noel
It's gone down
joining
by
in.
White.
It's been taken
White has
down, but the
taken that
referee
down.
says that it's England who've taken them all down.
The ball's available.
There it is
Feet
for
away,
Ben
feet
Youngs.
away. Thank you. Now we got balls. No hands. Oh.
There's the Leicester scrum half again. Look at them waiting. Here goes Launchbury. One try already for Launchbury.
Well done.
Sinclair getting caught. Brave tackle there from Finn Russell. Still England ball though. This will be the final play of the half. Elliot Daly the step.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well done, Darcy
He
Graham.
was on the ball and it was a second go by
He's
him.
had to
That's
watch
why
a lot
we
of
lost it.
traffic come down his wing,
Holding on.
and there's not a lot of possessions gone his way. But he's won Scotland that penalty that will see them into half-time, 31-7 down. But I guess it sums up this first half to say that it could have been worse.
Well, Finn Russell doesn't find touch. The pass there from Elliot Daly. There's Henry Slade. Jack Noel just skipping through the defenders.
He doesn't make things easy, Finn Russell, does he?
Gotcha.
Picked up on the half volley, that worked. Here's George Cruz. May wants it, he's got some space. Steps inside Darcy Graham. Offloading to George Cruz. Well, he was stripped by his Saracens teammate,
Easy,
Sean
Shivan.
Maitland.
Not
And
got
Scotland,
advantage,
I'm
Blue.
sure, will just look to get the ball into touch. Ali Price it is who follows the advice. And what an opening 40 to this finale of the 2019 Guinness Six Nations. Joe Launchbury among the try scorers. England already have a try bonus point. Scotland have been on the rack. Half time, England leading Scotland by 31 points to 7. spring in their stride by 31 points to 7. Well, Scotland conceded 61 points in this fixture 2 years ago. And I guess, Rory, if we look at some of the statistics, Scotland forced into making well in excess of 100 tackles in that first 40 minutes, yet they still conceded 4 tries.
Yeah, absolutely, and with the ball as well, Scotland made 0 line breaks. Obviously, the one try that fell to Stuart McInally came off the back of a charge down, so really important words in both half-time change rooms.
All good, okay. White, happy.
So Finn Russell gets us back underway. Here's Jack Noel. The man who scored the first try very early on in that second minute. Here's Ben Youngs. On to Billy Vunipola. No changes made by either side going into this second 40. Jamie George, you can see there standing out on the flank. Ball being palmed back, and that's Carl Sinclair who got a fist to it. Here's Elliot Daly. Sweeping back there is Finn Russell.
Inside.
Yeah, and it's a good net gain from that big left boot of Elliot Daly. Would have loved to have been in both changing rooms at half-time to hear the words of Eddie Jones. I have no doubt at all that he would have said, we've got our hand on the throat here. Suffocate Scotland and put them to bed. For Gregor Townsend, very much a damage limitation job.
Well, that time, Mana Tuolangi bursting through. It was the Scotland captain who was sent spinning to the turf, Stuart McInally, the try scorer for Scotland in the first 40. That was Jamie George. Here's George. VP Nell with the tackle. Farrell fires it. That was Mark Wilson, Newcastle's representative in this England side. Elliot Daly, there is space now for Johnny May. Farrell presents it. Gilchrist was through swiftly. Scotland have turned it over.
Fine. Hold there, blue 5. Hold.
Russell changes the direction. Long canter back for the England fullback. Elliot Daly there, making his 12th straight start at fullback for England today. A sequence which started on the tour of South Africa last summer. Last summer, if you're seeing it through the lens of somebody from the Northern Hemisphere. Middle of June, middle of winter it was in South Africa.
Elliot Daly just showing his class again with the clearance. He's really nailed down that 15 jersey, hasn't he, coming into this championship? It was a very close call between he and Mike Brown. He just brings an extra dynamism and athleticism to that role, albeit you maybe give a little bit away when it comes to the high ball diffusion.
Yeah, and I guess there were one or two people asking questions about him in that defeat in Wales, and I suppose that is when you expect him to be tested in tight matches, when England spend quite a bit of time on the back foot.
That final 20 minutes of that match in Cardiff will be looked at very closely by England. It's the only thing that stopped this afternoon being their Grand Slam opportunity.
There's Ellis Genge. Came on very early for Ben Moon. Reports on Ben Moon, by the way. He has damaged a shoulder. Quite how badly we'll see over the course of the weekend. Here is Daly. Just over the shoulder there of Magnus Bradbury, but the bounce Wasn't the bounce that Daly was looking for, and it's gone dead, so we'll be all the way back for a scrum from where the Wasps full-back kicked that.
It's typical, isn't it, as well? They just bigged him up and he just overcooked that one a little bit. But just thinking at half-time here about the differing psychologies in the changing room at half-time, and for Scotland, 24 points down at half-time.
Time off.
Even the biggest optimist in that changing room understands the challenge of, you know, scoring 4 unanswered tries for Scotland to be able to close the gap. So for Scotland, it is so much about getting some pride back into this jersey. That first half performance was poor. The defence was poor. There wasn't an edge. There wasn't the energy that Gregor Townsend would have liked. On the flip side, I've got no doubt Eddie Jones will want to see his side of the scoreboard ticking up into the 40s, into the 50s, and dare I say into the 60s.
Well, there we see an example of the all-court game of Johnny May, which is another example of how he's broadened his skill base.
He certainly has. He is an unbelievable athlete. He must be one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player in world rugby. But he's developed his game, and it's always been something. The high ball has been something he hasn't always been great under. He's not been a great kicker of the ball purely because he's always backed his speed. And remember, when he first broke through into the England squad a couple of years ago, he was lambasted for running across the field, getting away from a defender, running towards another one, getting away from another, rather than running forward. Now you just see the pace, but also the space that some of the runners we saw in the first half, the likes of Ellis Genge coming off the bench, Kyle Sinclair, Jack Nowell, Tom Curry, Billy Vunipola, the front football they provide, Johnny May just absolutely relishes being on the end of.
Just confirmation of the change being made there by Scotland, the stoppage caused by an injury to Alan Dell, who has left the field. And on comes Gordon Reid, so one current London Irish player replacing one who's heading that way at the end of the season. Ali Price there with the put-in. Here's Russell. Nick Grigg taking it into the contact. There's Murray again. Curry, I should say, being supported by Vunipola. Here's Ben Toulis. Darcy Graham. Graham has scored a try in defeat last weekend against Wales. Here's Hamish Watson. No repeat so far of his heroics coming off the bench last week against Wales, when he beat 10 Wales defenders in just 20-odd minutes on the pitch. Through goes Sam Johnson. Johnson with the offload of Price. Here's Maitland. He presents it for the scrum half. Out wide at Darcy Graham, and Graham has got there. Well, you have to say it. The Scots have got some fight in them.
And that man, Darcy Graham, there is no man in that blue jersey this afternoon who has more fight in them. But it was beautiful rugby here from Scotland. Look at the intricacy of the play between 4 or 5 of the backs. Ali Price out the back to Finn Russell, inside to Johnson. He got his hands free to Price, quick hands to Maitland, and then from there, Price initially straight in at the base. It looked like Darcy Graham still had a lot to do when Sam Skinner gave him the ball early, but he stepped inside Nowell, got beyond Genge and dived over for his second try in a Scottish jersey in 2 weeks. Scotland bounced back, and Gregor Townsend will be delighted to see the way that his side have reacted, because that's the first time that they've managed to put together 5-6 phases of meaningful attack, whereby Ali Price was getting quick ball, putting guys through half gaps. Hamish Watson fought through the tackle, and they get the 5-pointer.
Well, it's possible that Darcy Graham is only getting his opportunity, or has got his opportunity, over the last 2 weekends because of injuries to the likes of Stuart Hogg, Blair Kinghorn, Tommy Seymour. But he really has taken it with both hands. That was quite brilliant.
Well deserved. Darcy Graham, he has stepped up and shown Sean Maitland and Tommy Seymour and his opportunities that there is a new kid on the block and they're going to have to be on their mettle to stay selected towards the World Cup.
When you consider the injuries that Scotland have suffered in the back row, the likes of Magnus Bradbury, who was rushed back into action, missed several months because of injury. Well, was that just a hint of a knock-on? It was from Sam Johnson. Here's Ben Youngs onto George Cruz. Youngs again.
Advantage over.
Farrell pumps it high. Referee says the advantage is over. Finn Russell gathered with the big bear-like arms of Kyle Sinclair.
Leave it alone.
Gilchrist. The chip over the top from Price. Price has got it. This is what Price delivers to this Scotland side. There's the support from Bradbury. Perhaps this fight back has real meaning.
From nowhere, Gregor Townsend not showing any emotion at all. But from absolutely nowhere, Scotland have managed to put together two killer plays in 3 or 4 minutes, and it came from Ali Price. It was genius. He looked up and saw that there wasn't a sweeper. Ben Youngs was in the front line. Here we go, look at this, chips over the top, gets away from Billy Vunipola and steps inside. But look at this line from Bradbury, on the inside there, full tilt. Nobody can catch him. It's a great line, but that one, take a bow, Ali Price, creating something out of nothing. Scotland have 12 points in the space of 3 minutes. They've narrowed the gap, shown that they've got ability to bounce back, and Eddie Jones will not be happy.
Well, the deficit is now just 12 of Magnus Bradbury. I was making the point, I didn't quite finish it off. He missed several months because of injury. Reappeared for Edinburgh at the end of January. It was a man-of-the-match performance against the Dragons in the Pro 14. And it was a timely return with so many players getting injured. The likes of John Barclay, who's played no part at all in this campaign, and the long list of injuries in that back row. But Bradbury, another player who seized the opportunity.
Yeah, and I'd argue he's playing out of position this afternoon as well, more accustomed to playing in the number 6 jersey.
Yep.
Now they have to be mindful. Here's Hamish Watson being hunted down by Henry Slade. Now there is urgency from the men in white.
Get your timing right.
Price clears the danger. England are off and running though immediately. Here's Farrell. May with a great step. Nick Grigg rather overcommitting himself. Here's Youngs. On here to Jamie George. Tries to bustle his way through Ali Price. Billy Vunipola. Well, it's taken 52 minutes, but we do now have a proper contest. There was just a sense that this was becoming a ritual slaughter. Here goes Tuolangi, taken down, the offload onto Mark Wilson. They're 5 metres out of England. It's a real test of their mettle. Genge getting caught, put down by Vunipola, and it went forward. And now is it England who are making the mistakes?
Well, that was definitely a missed opportunity there. There are some tired bodies out on the field already. You see there the ball from Farrell out the back, lovely hands by Slade. Tuolangi busting through, and I thought Mark Wilson might have been able to make it. Desperate Scottish defence, but it was a desperate line speed jamming in from, I think it was possibly Nick Grigg, that forced a little error when Genge looked to offload to Billy Vunipola in the outside channel. Yeah, there it is, Nick Grigg just did enough. Billy Vunipola not managing to pick that one up, and you've just seen Scotland grow in belief. There's still 2 scores in this match, and they're still inside their 22, but you can just see the confidence that 2 quick scores has given them.
What a tackle that was from Byron McGuigan on Mano Tuolangi, a man who really is the classic international rugby eclectic mix, born in Namibia, went to school in Cape Town.
Yeah, first man.
Playing his international rugby for Scotland, his league rugby in England for sale.
It's a good exit set by Scotland there. Good carry by Bradbury initially, and I thought for a second again Tom Curry might have managed to snaffle it at the base, but quick 9-10 from Ali Price to Finn Russell, and Russell finds a really good outcome there. You look at the level of tackles that Scotland have had to make, 147. I'm amazed there's only 17 been missed so far.
Well, there has to come a point, rather like a heavyweight contest in boxing. You throw so many punches at some point, and you take so many punches, you have to get tired. Here's space for May. Owen Farrell was calling for it, but he wasn't found. There goes Mark Wilson.
The ball's so quick for England.
Tuolangi, Slade. I do wonder if the message was coming from the side of the pitch. England, you're getting a little complacent. They're not looking complacent now. Here's Tom Curry. Scotland can get the next score, almost any score. What it would really do to this match, and there's Byron McGuigan. 1 pass too many there from the men in white. We've still got 25 minutes to go. Russell onto Grigg, almost through. Important tackle there coming from Tuolangi. Ali Price sniping again onto Gilchrist. That's the halfway line you can see. Grigg is down, holding an ankle. Here goes Hamish Watson. Curry stripping the ball, but illegally.
Yeah, and these are big decisions as well. It's the right decision for me by Paul Williams, the New Zealander, on the whistle this afternoon. It's the tackle was complete, and then the strip came afterwards. I was about to say the importance of the impact from the bench, and Scotland, having defended for so much of this game so far, look like they're about to unleash 5 of the men from the bench.
Well, interesting calls. Greg Laidlaw is on, Fraser Brown is on, Johnny Gray is on, Josh Strauss is coming on.
Time is off.
Particularly the call which catches the eye there is the one at the scrum half. When you consider the role of Ali Price in the last 5 minutes, does that surprise you?
It does a little bit, I have to say. I think he's been really energetic, and, you know, the entire try for Bradbury came down to Ali Price's little bit of genius and tempo.
Just hold him.
At the same time, it did look like he was starting to tire. He's put in a lot of work in the 56 minutes so far. Greg Laidlaw will bring extra energy. He'll now take over the captaincy as well, with Stuart McInally having given way. Really important that Gregor Townsend sees an impact from this bench.
Another alteration. Chris Harris has replaced Nick Grigg, who's hovered off with that ankle. Here's Fraser Brown with the ball. There's a penalty advantage here to Scotland. Here's Harris on there to Russell. The space now is a potential 2-on-1, and it's going to be in the corner, and they've got there. Darcy Graham, his second try in this second half. Who would have thought it?
Not me, Martin, not me. This is unbelievable. Scotland have just found 3 more gears since half-time. Darcy Graham on the end. Watch this from Finn Russell. Look at that pass. Memories of Murrayfield over 12 months ago with a pass to Hugh Jones. On that occasion, it was Sean Maitland. And off the back of it, Darcy Graham has another run-in on the outside shoulder of Elliot Daly, dots it down. Scotland closed the gap further, and we've now got a 1-score game. How did this happen? You could not have read this at half-time.
And he even had the presence of mind to take the ball 4.5, 5 metres infield. And that does just make the task that little bit easier for the now Scotland captain, the Scotland leader again. Well, he's just hooked that across the face. But they are now separated by just a converted try.
And you see the pass that beats Johnny May. Johnny May's able to make the tackle, but by then Sean Maitland's compromised him on the outside shoulder. Elliot Daly's had to hold just for that extra half second. And Darcy Graham dots down the Hoyk boy in for his brace this afternoon. My goodness, we've got a game on our hands.
Well, it slipped through the grass there of Magnus Bradbury. With that man Darcy Graham on hand. And we've still got 21 minutes to go. What appeared to be a stroll down by the side of the Thames in southwest London is turning out to be a minor classic.
Really important that Scotland just consolidate now.
Oh, in goes Russell, and he's away, and all of a sudden we're going to be level. England are imploding.
They have hit the self-construct button. They've not had any possession, and when they do, they've not. That man Owen Farrell hasn't anticipated. Finn Russell knows how to read an intercept. Gets in front to George Cruz, and from there he's got a 45-metre run-in. And with England all heading towards Scotland's goal line, nobody was quick enough to turn and reel him in. Scotland have levelled things up. It's absolutely unbelievable scenes here at Murrayfield.
We're actually at Twickenham. I can understand it. It doesn't normally happen in this part of the world.
I just sensed it from the Scottish fans around me who are shouting at me here. It's incredible.
You got yourself out of that one very skillfully. Suddenly those Scottish voices are being heard. They were utterly silent in the first 40. My, oh my. Whatever happens from here, this has certainly been the most extraordinary game of this Six Nations Championship.
I hope the Scottish fans here at Twickenham have stayed past half-time, because believe me, there would have been a few that would have thought that this game was going to only go one way.
Well, I reckon there might have been one or two dogs being walked through the Scottish capital over the course of the last hour. They'll get back into the kitchen and they will not believe what they're seeing here. England 31, Scotland 31. Here goes Farrell, on to Noel. Noel with the offload, that was outstanding. There goes Henry Slade. And he did have a foot in touch. Federico Anselmi, the Argentinian assistant referee on the far side, has got the flag up. And perhaps not surprisingly, tempers are getting a little frayed.
And both sides looking to continue to play. Clever play there by Elliot Daly. The ball has to break the line for that to be out. But look at this. Byron McGuigan comes flying in, looking as if he's going to go for an intercept here. As it is, he got to Manu Tuolangi. Good tackle by Maitland, just doing enough to bring Slade down. The moisture on the surface, having him finish up in touch.
Well, in those little contests within a contest, that was Saracens against Exeter. Maitland, the Saracens fullback. Slade for Exeter. Josh Strauss grabs the loose ball.
Even the little 50-50s going a bit Scotland's way. A skew throw by Fraser Brown could well have gone England's way. As it is, fell to Josh Strauss.
1983, the last time Scotland won the Calcutta Cup at Twickenham. We saw the beast and the brute of England in the first 40. We've seen them fall apart in the opening 22 minutes of this second period.
No. Oh.
Farrell. Tuolangi getting hunted down by Harris. Here's Youngs. Farrell. Youngs, that's one for Noel to chase. Josh Strauss is underneath it, so too Maitland. And now Maitland breaks clear. Forces Elliot Daly to turn, and that has gone into touch.
The final quarter of the games so far in this Six Nations Championship have been the most positive for England with regards to their tries, and the worst for Scotland with regards to their concessions. But this game has a different feel about it now, doesn't it? Scotland getting the bounce of the ball, making opportunities. England seemingly making unforced errors, the like of which we didn't see anything near in the first half.
Well, it was 20 minutes against Wales, which really cost them. That was over the other side of the Severn Bridge. 20 minutes here proving very expensive in front of their home crowd. That was Byron McGuigan being enveloped. Here's Greg Laidlaw. Well taken by Vunipola, being hit almost immediately by Johnny Gray.
Hey.
Bradbury letting that one fall. Here goes Hamish Watson.
Over.
Russell sends Darcy Graham after it. Well, in the end, it beat both Graham and Johnny May.
It did. It's another net gain. I thought Bradbury got lucky there. I thought that went forward off him.
Yeah, it just brushed through his fingers, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, again, good game management by Finn Russell, though. Understanding the pressure that England are under here. Conceded 24 unanswered points in this second half so far.
Well, 13 out of 13 for Jamie George. Becomes 14 out of 14. One part of the England game that has been flawless so far.
Tackle now. Oh, boy.
Johnny May imperious under that high ball. Well, rather given away by Ben Youngs. Plenty of time there for Sean Maitland to pick his spot.
Hold!
Vunipola just keeping his left toe off the whitewash.
Some really tired bodies out there already.
Last feet.
14 minutes to go of this game. You can just see the kick chase intensity's gone down a bit. The speed of everything's just gone down that little bit. Understandably so. It's been so physical and frenetic.
Finn Russell
Thank you.
Sends Elliot Daly backwards. Improves the angle. Throw in Farrell.
Holding White. 12. Yep, now.
Here's Darcy Graham. Well, he got hit hard. And the referee has said nothing. Taken for by Noel.
Oh, there.
That was a big collision. I just think Darcy Graham kicked a bit late. Owen Farrell was committed.
Youngs. Well, both Farrell and Darcy Graham getting some treatment. Here's Greg Laidlaw.
Yeah. Right, thanks, mate. Time off.
Well, the referee has called time off. Let's take another look at that collision.
I don't know why you're here. We are going to check it.
Yeah, I don't like the way that Owen Farrell's led with his shoulder there. I know he's committed to it. You know, as it is, he turns into Darcy Graham as he chips it. And I know he's committed, but that's a bit reckless for me.
I mean, the reality is, it doesn't matter whether you're committed or not. If you're leading with the shoulder, there are no arms concerned.
And I think the collision, it's fair to say, was with the head, so...
Well, the referee is now taking a look at this. And this, in the context of this match, could be a crucial decision.
It's a nasty collision, isn't it? I understand you're committed, but the player not in possession is responsible for the player who is.
And also, you can be committed, but you've got to be committed with what is otherwise a legal challenge.
Timing looks okay.
Yeah. Is he protecting himself by tucking that, or is he actually dropping his shoulder there? White didn't use his arm.
Well, we're now hearing that Farrell didn't use his arm. Now, this appears to be leaning towards a penalty. Remains to be seen.
Stenny, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to restart play with the penalty
accelerated.
Both of them have run into each other. I think White's actually trying to protect himself rather than leading with the shoulder, and both of them actually end up on the floor. So I'm going to restart play here with a penalty to blue. Have you got anything else?
That's correct.
Right, thank you.
Well, that's probably a fair call, isn't it? They're going to start with a Scotland penalty.
So restarting play here with a penalty to you, okay?
Just it's a huge call.
Yeah, both came off
pretty bad. I have to say, if Darcy Graham had carried that, would that tackle have been a legal tackle?
Hang on a second.
No, I don't think so. I thought it was a shoulder to head.
What's that, sorry?
I'm sad to say that I think it's ended Darcy Graham's... Darcy Graham's, he's managed to get up. Sean Maitland's giving way now, and there's Adam Hastings, who's come on at fullback.
Up there.
Sean Maitland's had a good game at fullback, actually.
You've got an option here.
Adam Hastings, good impact off the bench.
Ball landed
last week in amongst all of those injuries against Wales for Scotland. What a 13 minutes he has, but for Scotland...
Right here.
Even scoreboard with 13 minutes to go.
Go back 10 and we'll restart play.
And a good opportunity with the penalty here. Greg Laidlaw points at the sticks.
Well, it's one of those. If it sails through the post, it is quite magnificent. If it falls a long way short or gets blown about in the wind, you do wonder about the decision being made.
Last week, I questioned whether Scotland should have taken points at times. This is almost a shot to nothing, whereby you expect that even if it misses, you'll hopefully end up with a line-out or a counter-attacking opportunity. It was only 25 minutes ago that I was saying for Gregor Townsend's squad, this was about damage limitation, and there was very little chance they could win this game. Unbelievably, Greg Laidlaw has a shot at goal here to give Scotland the lead for the first time, having been 28-0 down.
Well, 46 metres. Almost half the length of the field. Well, I reckon if he'd hit that straight, it might have just about had the length.
Yeah, it wasn't his cleanest strike, and that's at the very, very end of his range. Perhaps one that if Stuart Hogg had been playing, he would have had a go at himself. Because as it is, Owen Farrell will get us started to the 22.
Plenty of hang time on that. Harris it is who claims it. He gets forced back by Joe Launchbury. Drive forward by Johnny Gray. Russell. Well, it came off Owen Farrell, who rather mistimed his jump, and it went forward.
And it's smart game management from Scotland here. Understanding, as I said moments ago, England are the side under pressure here. Finn Russell there going to the skies. Knocked on a touch by Farrell there.
And he went up too soon, didn't he?
He did. Amazing the effect that pressure has, even on the top players in the world.
Yep, bring him on. Substitution. Who's coming off, mate?
England making another change. On comes George Ford. Off goes Owen Farrell. But it's quite a call in these circumstances. 10 minutes remaining, you take off the England captain, their playmaker. What's the thinking?
It's a huge call because they're different players. If I'm looking for my 10 to see the team through, get some field position, manage territory, then Farrell's probably my man. Ford, undoubtedly a very good handler of the ball, good distributor. But he's an area, it's a channel whereby Scotland, I would expect, will aim to target. He's not the greatest defender.
A pick up from Strauss. There's Russell. Through goes Harris. The tackle looked a bit high, but also before that the pass was forward. Well, Owen Farrell has gone off, and George Ford not only playing at fly half, but also now the captain.
Yeah, you just see the contrast with the accuracy or lack of it on that strike move compared to the one that Darcy Graham scored off from the line out. Greg Laidlaw just pushing that pass forward. Chris Harris just overran it slightly. Gives England an opportunity to get themselves some field position. This is the sort of scrum on the area of the field that has a scrum half with a pace outside. Daly and Nowell on that right-hand channel. You'd be licking your lips at. Expect Greg Laidlaw to cover that blind side.
We still have 9 minutes to go. So much can happen, but perhaps still worth reinforcing the point. If the score's finished level, Scotland will retain the Calcutta Cup. A carry there from Ellis Genge.
Yeah,
Bradbury in there trying to strip it. Here's Youngs. On there from George Ford. That was Cole down on one knee. Dan Cole earning his 85th cap today. The same as that man, Ben Youngs. Here's Curry. Youngs goes aerial. Finn Russell waits for it. It went forward off the hands of the Scotland fly half. There's Ben Youngs, on to Genge.
No.
Ford. Here's Cruz. Important catch there for Hastings, just sinking to his knees, almost out of a sense of relief, I think.
Yeah, but you sense the crowd here are so on edge, booing the kicking strategy there. England inside Scotland's half. Ben Youngs going for the skies. Real tension flowing throughout this crowd and through both sides, understandably so. Final 7 minutes of this Six Nations Championship, and it is right on a knife edge.
Yes, yes.
Well, another generation of Hastings have been heroes in this fixture in the past. I do wonder if the latest of them, Adam, might play his part. Scotland will have the put in at the scrum. 7 minutes to go. Twickenham is on edge.
We had Scott Hastings, Adam's uncle, and obviously Gavin's brother at half-time coming along here and talking about records. I think the only one he was thinking about was the losing deficit of a Scottish side here at Twickenham. Instead, the only record that's properly under threat is breaking that 1983 the last time that Scotland won here at Twickenham against England. What a game we've had.
Well, we did have the 12-all draw exactly 30 years ago. That's the closest Scotland have come in the meantime. It is 31 points apiece here in 2019. What a finish to rugby's greatest championship. Confirmation there of the alterations being made. Ben Spencer, another Saracen, comes onto the pitch.
The conditions aren't getting any easier, are they? You can see the sheet of rain coming down. This game, if it's going to be settled with a winner, it's just going to come down to the finest margins.
You've been involved in big internationals like this in a seething cauldron, 80,000 people, all of them making themselves heard. How clear are the messages that come from off the pitch to the players?
You know, by the time you get to this stage of the game, you've got a feel on the field. Greg Laidlaw will have gone on with clear instructions and understanding. It's now just all about execution. The coaches can't do anything, they can't say anything to really impact things. You can see that Scotland have had a strategy. For Eddie Jones, it's all about just trying to squeeze Scotland and get territory, both sides. Territory is so important, because this could just come down to a penalty kick to win the match.
There goes Elliot Daly. Scotland know they can't afford to allow him get into full flight. Ball lost forward. Here goes Magnus Bradbury. Onto Fraser Brown. Brown getting through the tackle that time of Luke Cowan-Dickie. Here's Hamish Watson. Watson, just for a moment, doing what he did against Wales a week ago. Russell.
No, hands out! Rock.
That time there was a bit of an issue. Oh, he's burst through! Here goes Johnson! Sam Johnson! Going for gold! Can he get there? He can! It's a fairy tale finish. Surely the most extraordinary test match you've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe what I have just seen here. Symptomatic Billy Vunipola. How many errors does he ever make in a game? Not many. As it was, Hamish Watson ran into Tom Curry, but off the back of it, he knocked him over. Finn Russell unleashes Sam Johnson. Look at the fight of the Australian-born Scotsman through the challenges of 2 or 3 defenders. He dots down next to the post protector, and finally we'll see some emotion. Gregor Townsend punches the air. That coaching box, you will never see a contrasting behaviour in a coaching box in the space of 40 minutes, more than that one. Greg Laidlaw's going to make it 7. It's Scotland's game to lose now. What a second half comeback, incredible. Look at this from Finn Russell. He does him with the eyes. Nathan Hughes bites in. Manu Tuolangi drifts out. Sam Johnson, look at the work he's still got to do though. Steps Nowell. Pulls in Daly, get off. Ben Spencer, get off.
Yeah, all yours.
I'm in.
A change being made by England. Ben Teo has come on. He's replaced Manu Tuolangi.
That's you there. Bring him down here, please. Bring him down.
Well, one of Scottish rugby's biggest fans is J.K. Rowling. She's written a few scripts in her time. She wrote this one. You certainly wouldn't believe it.
Full of fantasy and make-believe. I'll continue making terrible predictions like I did at half-time if it ends up in a game like this, no matter who comes out as the winner. What a contest we have seen here at Twickenham.
Stays through the middle.
Well, Scotland will soon start to see the finish line. They're in the mists in the distance in southwest London. They've got to keep playing. 2.5 minutes to survive. What a comeback this has been.
I'm not sure the pick and go is the tactic. 2.5 minutes out though. Just keep building that territory. England will look to suffocate Scotland and force an error or a penalty.
Ball is out, ball is out. Yep, ball's there.
Here goes Ellis Genge.
Rip down the tackle, play on.
Johnson's got it. The Scotland hero.
Yep, lost out.
Inside of half-time, England were leading this match by 31 points to 0. 38 unanswered points from the Scots. And now we're down to the last 90 seconds.
Keep watching.
Stuart McInally charging down Owen Farrell. That was after 35 minutes. It started the comeback. And it's just gathered more and more momentum ever since.
And Scotland have ridden their luck, haven't they? If you think about the charge down and the intercept of Finn Russell, they've just taken the flow and it's come their way, and my goodness, they've made it count.
The final minute. Space for Slade. Is there a final twist? Johnny May. May doing well to keep it alive. 45 seconds between Scotland and bringing to an end a long sequence of failure at Twickenham. The 5th of March, 1983. The last time the Scots won here in the Calcutta Cup. The clock ticking down. Ben Spencer onto Ford. He's apprehended by Gray. There's Spencer. Another carry from the men in white. Nathan Hughes.
No!
England have imploded in the last 45 minutes of this contest.
At first you're okay.
They do now, though, have a penalty.
Played it on the ground.
So worst case scenario for Scotland, they retain the Calcutta Cup as holders of it, but at the same time, I was just about to say the importance of discipline, because we can't finish on a penalty. So George Ford will kick for the corner. We saw England's maul earlier in the day, whereby Tom Curry picked up the try. Just simple, effective execution. England would much rather finish this game with a draw and give up the Calcutta Cup
it's a bit of a giveaway
than lose here.
Who's on the ball there?
It is the final play.
Right, this is you here. On the back.
Having fluffed their lines throughout this second half, can England finally put it together and save Eddie Jones' day? Cowan Dickey finds Cruz.
Who's on the ground there, right?
70-odd thousand Englishmen.
Advantage.
And there's a penalty advantage coming for England now.
Advantage.
There's Spencer. Onto Ford. Spencer again. Onto Noel. Noel. The man who got the try-fest underway in the second minute. Nathan Hughes that time. It's still an advantage to England. It's a free hit. Scotland will be determined to force them wide. Spencer. He's had that canny knack of scoring tries all season for Saracens. Can he get one for England at their time of need? There's Nathan Hughes waiting to pick up. He looks left and right.
Okay, blue. Okay. I've already got a penalty advantage.
Genge that time. This penalty advantage is right in the shadow of the posts. There's Hughes. He offloads it to Teo. There's Slade. On there to Noel.
No, 16, last feet.
Don't forget there's still the penalty advantage being played. It will be right in front of the posts.
No.
There's Curry. Ford bursts through the middle. England have saved themselves.
And it's a killer blow for that man, Gregor Townsend, and his coach's team. Just the pressure at the end, the difference that penalty advantage makes, the ability to have a free hit and continue to hammer the line, knowing that no matter what happens, you have an advantage to come back for. It was brilliant Scottish defence. Hastings and Graham on that wing again, stopping Noel. But as it is, finally the dam broke and George Ford got over.
I know it's counterintuitive, but you do wonder. They might have been, if not happy, under the circumstances, partially content to have allowed them to score in the corner. It would have made the conversion so difficult. In the end, Ford goes under, the try is converted, and it has ended in a dramatic draw. Just as it did back in 1989, 30 years ago. But it is Scotland who retain the Calcutta Cup. The final score at Twickenham, England 38, Scotland 38. Well, you could see there Gregor Townsend almost looking as downbeat as he did at the end of the first half, but for entirely different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Scotland will now feel that it's a game that got away purely because they were in a winning position with 2 minutes to go. Credit to England for the fight that they continued to show. They hadn't scored a point in this second half ahead of that try right at the death there, but they kept on fighting. Scotland's discipline just in those final moments got away from them at key moments. It's what an unbelievable game of rugby. It's been an absolute privilege to be here covering it and talking about it. Just incredible. Two sides who look to play a game of two halves, if ever you saw it. Unbelievable.
Well, let's go down now to pitch side, where Martin Bayfield is talking to the man of the match, Finn Russell.
Well, Finn Russell, we will allow you to receive your well-deserved Guinness Man of the Match award from Sil Salah.
Congratulations.
And then let us try and put some sense to this incredible game. This is one which will be remembered, well, forever in Six Nations history. Try and sum it up for us now.
I'm gutted, to be honest. I think at half-time, everyone would have written Scotland off there. You know, I think it was 31-7 at the half. So for us to come out and have the second half like that was outstanding. It showed the character that the boys have. I'm just so disappointed and gutted that we didn't manage to finish it off at the end after Sammy's try. You know, a couple of minutes to go and we're 7 points up. So a draw is good, but we need to the whole tournament, we need to win these games when we're close.
Just give us an idea of what was said in the dressing rooms at half-time, because you'd got the try through Stuart McInally, but you were still a long way adrift.
I think I actually had an argument with Gregor. I said, you're telling us to kick, and when we kick it, they just run it back and cut us open, and when we run it, they're just hitting us behind the gain line and winning the ball back. So I think the first half we got caught off guard with England, similar to 2 years ago. And then second half, I think we just came out, we had nothing to lose, nothing, you know, we kind of just played our rugby second half. We played well, we kicked out our half and some great tries. So I think we just played good Scottish rugby the second half.
Injuries have decimated your campaign. How important was it for Scottish rugby to put on such an impressive performance with so many injuries having handicapped your campaign?
Yeah, there's a lot of injuries, but I think, you know, the boys that have filled in have been outstanding. The whole campaign, it's been a bit frustrating for us. We've had a couple of close games. We've maybe not played at our best sometimes. And I think the first half year, that kind of was what everyone was expecting of our campaign and how England have been playing. So I think we did ourselves right by coming out second half and playing really well.
And you retained the Calcutta Cup.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but I don't know, we'll see if we have the same celebrations tonight. It would have been better again if we won, but yeah, it's a good way to finish the campaign with the Calcutta Cup back in Scotland.
Well, many, many congratulations. What a thrilling game. Well done.
Thank you.
So the man of the match there, Finn Russell. But in terms of comebacks, have you ever seen anything like that before?
I don't remember seeing anything like it. Outside of Champions League football, it was just remarkable, and I had written them off. I don't think there could be an honest Scot on the ground, even in the coaching room, who could have suggested that Scotland had any chance of winning this game.
Well, he's blooded, he's muddied, but he gets to retain and lift the Calcutta Cup, and they're waiting to present it to him, Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, Stuart McInally. Who'd have thought an hour ago we would be seeing this at the end of the afternoon? Well, a truly remarkable match. Owen Farrell taken off the pitch 10 minutes before the finish. That was certainly a key moment, wasn't it?
It was a huge call, but let's not forget who it was that dived under the sticks to score England's final try there. It would have been really interesting if it had come down to a kick at goal. Farrell's so dependable, but as it is, look, I think Scotland will take a lot away from this game, as both teams will, in understanding what it takes to win a test match. They get to leave with that precious silverware, which is oh so important. Stuart McInally almost having it pinched off him there by one of the fans, but for England, they will have big questions asked on that second half performance. To give up a 31-point lead and 38 points conceded without return is something that you would never expect here at Twickenham.
So Stuart McInally, just one of 23 Scotland heroes. The man who started the comeback and the man who in the end lifts up the Calcutta Cup, and he's down there and he's speaking to Martin Bakefield.
Well, Stuart McInally, I guess you must be a very proud Scotland captain.
Yeah, absolutely. From where we were in the change room at half-time to be standing here now with the Calcutta Cup, yeah, no, it's pretty special. Yeah, we dug ourselves a hole and we managed to get out of it. I'm really proud of the boys.
That climb out of the hole started just before half-time with your try. Did you realise how far you had to run and who was chasing you down?
Oh, no, I have no idea. I just run as fast as I can, and luckily I had just enough room. I didn't do much else in that first half. After that, I was absolutely knackered. But no, I'm so proud of that second half effort. What an effort from the boys.
There's almost a sort of end-of-season fairy tale feel about this game, but this was a hugely important match for both teams. What were you trying to get through to your players for them to do, and what did they do to get that result?
Especially at half-time, we felt our kick chase was hurting us. We kicked a lot of balls to them in the first half, and they've got such dangerous runners, and they were cutting us open. So we just wanted to tighten up our kick chase, and when we had the ball, just be really physical. And we managed to hold on to the ball and score some great tries, which was brilliant.
It sounds crazy. You scored so many tries. You dragged this game back from the brink. Is there still, though, a sense of disappointment that it wasn't a victory, that it was there possibly for you?
Yeah, massively. You know, it was a long last 10 minutes sitting on the bench watching that, and you know, you start to believe that we were going to turn it around and win it. You know, it'd be nice to have this in our hands, knowing that we've won the game as well. But the Calcutta Cup means a lot to us, so we're delighted to have it home.
Well, it's been 36 years since Scotland won at Twickenham, but you do have the Calcutta Cup in your hands. It's almost as good, isn't it?
Yeah, like, it's mixed emotions. Like from where we were at half-time to the final result, I'd say we'd have probably taken it. But what we did in the first half, and we'll also take great confidence. We've really let ourselves down this tournament, I thought, and to come here and do something pretty special today was good.
Well, thanks for your time, and thanks for entertaining us all so wonderfully.
Cheers.
Well, it really was a Jekyll and Hyde test match. A game in which both captains in the end finished watching it from the sidelines. Owen Farrell, who led what was an utterly imperious performance by England in the first 35 minutes, but it's what happened after that. Let's catch up now with the England captain, Owen Farrell.
Owen, we saw you at the end there, the final whistle, the whole team gathered round in a huddle. What was being said?
A bit more that we're in control of our own emotions in that second half, a bit more than we did today. You know, it shocked us. It shocked us when they got a fair bit of momentum, and I think we give that, me more than anyone at times, give that to them. But you know, I think what we said in there is that we're probably in control of it a bit more than we think we are.
The finger will be pointed at England at crucial times in this campaign. They couldn't react to the pressure that was coming their way, notably the second half against Wales and now this second half. Is that fair criticism?
Oh, they're two different things, two different games, two different situations. Yeah, we got in a momentum rut, and we couldn't get out of it today at times. As I said, that's probably in our control more than we thought it was out there today, and that's what we've got to get it better at.
The positives, England again off to a spectacular start and digging themselves out of a hole at the end to get the equalising try. What changed?
I don't know, the start seems a long time ago now. Obviously to go in at half-time, the scoreline what it was pleasing, but you know, rugby's a game of momentum, and Scotland were good when they got it in that second half.
Yeah, some more words on Scotland, because that was a remarkable performance for a team to come back from 31-0 down.
Yeah, no, they played some good rugby, as I said. When they got some momentum, they punished us. But as I said, probably the disappointing thing is that we fed that.
A lot of time now to think and scratch your heads till the next competitive game for England. It's going to be a mesmerising few months, I guess, as you try and work out what to do next.
No. All we've got to do is improve. We've got to learn. We've got to work hard. That's not changed if we'd have won this game. But I guess it causes us to look at ourselves a bit deeper, and hopefully that's a good thing.
Oh, thanks for your time.
Thank you.